Good morning, Mr. Chair. Our first honorary certificate presentation recognizes Richard Kalolo Kalani Buffalo and Momi Keaulana, the founders of the annual Buffalo Big Board Surfing Classic. This presentation is made by Councilmember Pine.
Okay, Councilmember Pine.
Mahalo very much. I'm very honored to be here with all of you to honor one of our most famous city employees. Actually, probably the most legendary of all time, who has been a lifeguard serving us since 1959. Everyone knows him, Buffalo, as well as his wife. They know Buffalo as the famous waterman, the four-time winner for body surfing in the late 1950s, the board riding champions in the 1960s, and of course famous throughout the world. But he and Auntie Momi have done more than just win fame through what he has done. They have given back to our community. They've been honored by governors and city councils and legislators around the world. But today we are here to thank them for what they have done, especially for the city area of Makaha. On the Leeward Coast, especially in the Makaha area, whenever I visit there, I am often touched. I am touched by the struggle that people go through, yet every day, despite the poverty that is in the area, they still make it every day. Uncle Buffalo and Auntie Momi knows that there is a fine line between eating just enough and starving. A fine line between just making it every day and serving time in jail for making it the wrong way. Uncle Buffalo especially knows what it's like. His mother called him Buffalo because they likened him to the water buffalo, always in the water. But life wasn't always easy and full of a famed life like we know him. His father died a month before he was born, and in his youth, he struggled with a somewhat abusive stepfather, and he struggled with homelessness, something that he and Auntie Momi can identify with many of the families who are struggling today. When he wasn't living with a friend's family, he would sleep on the beach in a cardboard box. He collected keawe beans to buy slippers for school, but when he showed up at Waipahu High School in the 9th grade, the teacher told him he needed shoes, not slippers. So he decided his formal education would end there. But I had the ocean, Buffalo says. When I had no lunch money, I'd dive during lunch break and give the fish to the school cafeteria workers to cook it up, and then I'd eat. Buffalo came to fame, of course, first surfing for the Army, and of course, through his Hawaiian values of ohana, both on the land and on the canoe. And he married Auntie Momi Whaley from Kaimuki in 1960, and the two moved to be where he was a park keeper in Makaha, in an A-frame residence above the city park bathhouse. Since then, they raised 5 children there, and the beach and the ocean was their front yard. But it was in 1975 when he began sailing in the double-hulled canoes, where he was selected as the head steersman for the Polynesian voyage canoe, Hokulea's first voyage to Tahiti in 1976, when after his 35-day trip, he returned as changed man. It was a revival of Hawaiian pride back then, a Hawaiian renaissance, where he realized that he could not just return change and understanding his culture more than ever, and understanding what he had gone through without wanting to give back to the community. And so he and Auntie Momi started the Buffalo Big Board Classic that celebrated everything about the water, with now over a dozen categories from tandem surfing, canoe surfing, and board surfing. And they started this classic hoping to remind the kids of what's special about where they grew up and to do good things, and most importantly, to get them out of trouble. He had a hard time getting donors at first, but finally his most famous first donor said yes, and that was Don Ho. And there was only one rule that they had when the classic started to all the kids that were going to be involved: no stealing for 2 days. But really, it was an even deeper meaning. He and Auntie Moni wanted to remind them of their Hawaiian pride. So this isn't just a regular surf classic. It has a Hawaiian ceremony, a Hawaiian court, Hawaiian dance and melee, and Hawaiian rules. And now, Hawaii's top entertainers perform and top surfers come to celebrate this special classic from around the world. And he has given back with Auntie Momi, and they have personally raised money for the city's Leeward Junior Lifeguard program, training youngsters in saving life techniques, everything that they learned many years ago. You see, Uncle Buffalo is known for his famous giving of himself. In the 1960s, one of his most memorable saves, that when he first got into being a lifeguard, he risked his life at the Keavala Shoreline Cave, where he saved 2 boys, and sadly, while recovering the body of their father. He risked his life while calming the boys down, and so ever caringly, despite the large waves, and possibly risking his own life. He grabbed a board, he paddled into the cave, and brought all of them out. In 1969, Mayor Neil Blaisdell appointed Buffalo to a permanent Makaha Beach position as a city lifeguard. That same year, Buffalo rescued a 14-month-old baby who had crawled away from his sleeping mom into the ocean. He was blue already, Buffalo said, but thank God he had just taken a class on CPR. And he later had also saved legendary oilman Doug Hoffman. I'm sorry, Doug Hoffman was the boy that he saved. And just last year, he thanked Buffalo with his father for saving his life and the many wonderful years that he's had. And he also saved Texas oilman Carlton Beal. Many said that he was lost because of the current. But Buffalo knew where the current would take him. And he dove down and risked his life once more and grabbed him by his hair and then got him up and saved him. This is a man who's had 4 songs written about him and has been honored by so many. As Cecilio said, "Open up your heart, the man will touch you, and you'll learn the life of the old Hawaiian way." Currently, 5 of his children are serving our city as lifeguard. Brian, Buffalo's oldest son, followed in his father's footsteps as a lifeguard. He is credited with developing the jet ski and life sled, which is able to dart between waves and is now being used worldwide as a water rescue vehicle. And Auntie Momi, of course, has been the strong one supporting him. Nothing can be done without Auntie Momi. She's the stalwart in the t-shirt booth, successfully paying the bills for the Surf Classic. She is also credited with using the Hawaiian plants to maintain and in many cases restore good health. But she says the most important thing that she can share to all of us is in the ocean, you are in heaven because you're in God's creation. You feel like you're in the arms of love. It heals us physically and spiritually. And so with Auntie Momi and Uncle Buffalo today is their son, Stanley Keolana, and Uncle Clayton Sue. If you can raise your hand, thank you so much. So on behalf of the City Council, we thank you so much for healing so many broken kids that could have had a very different life had you not existed, and lifted up so many broken families who had no hope. And for reminding us all every day that there is something to get up in the morning for, and that we should be thankful for no matter what the challenges that we have. And we're thankful for just by watching you live, that we know that we can accomplish anything. Mahalo nui loa.
Okay, members, please step forward to greet the Keaulana family.